Prime Minister, Governor Gediminas, heads of the diplomatic corps, heads of international financial institutions, and distinguished ladies and gentlemen. In conclusion, I think a lot has already been said. It will sound redundant, but I think let me start by appreciating Ms. Barbaros for the warm introduction. And I couldn't be more honored to join this conversation and discourse on financial literacy. As you are aware, the IMF has the duty of promoting global and monetary stability, and I am convinced that a culture of financial literacy, and more importantly, financial inclusion, is essential to achieving these goals. The former Federal Reserve Chairman, Ben Bernanke, once said that educated citizens are crucial for the success of monetary and financial sector policies. Sadly, in the grand scheme of things, it is very hard for a central bank to focus on issues of financial literacy. When we have to fight fires on inflation, on banks, it is very hard for someone to spare the time to focus on this issue that we are going to discuss today. And so, what is happening today is more like a road which is less traveled, in the words of Robert Frost. And I'm so happy to hear two central bankers who have made this a priority for their work. Considering the exceptional times that we are in, with the COVID on the side as well as the war here in Moldova, I think this is the right time to be having this kind of conversations. Moldova has experienced a lot of crises and overlapping issues, and the IMF has stepped up in offering policy advice. We've also gone in as a shock absorber, providing financial support, and we also have built capacity around it. But despite all these good intentions, it was very clear on the part of the IMF that the issues of financial inclusion as well as financial literacy need to be pressed at the forefront of policy activity. And this goes very well with the G20, whose focus on a trilogy of financial inclusion, consumer protection, as well as financial literacy is something that most central bankers are also emulating. So I stopped by this morning just to say that this road, which is less traveled towards financial literacy and inclusion, may be a difficult one, but I think it's a journey worth taking. And I want to close by talking about 3 reasons why I think we should focus on financial literacy. The first one is what the Prime Minister has already eloquently said. Financial literacy paves the way for economic participation as well as improved welfare. Once people start to learn how to manage their resources, once people know how to manage their savings, it improves their living standards. And once people or families start moving towards this direction, every government should be very happy that we're contributing to progress. So it's not only necessary for us to invest in financial literacy, but it's also good because it contributes to the welfare and economic participation. Think about it. About 36% of people in Moldova don't have an access to a financial account. Penetration of banking accounts is very low, more especially for the poor. Now, the implication is if you improve access to financial services, it's not a guarantee if you just beef up the regulatory environment. It's not a guarantee if you just work on consumer protection. Something has to be done for us to meaningfully address financial literacy. And that's where what is happening today come in. If we invest in financial literacy, we improve the economic welfare of the people. Also, I wanted as a second reason why we need to invest is this is the issue of financial stability. You may not believe it, but a majority of ignorant people can also cause financial instability. If people invest unnecessarily and take excessive risk, and if people over-concentrate in some segments of market, we could end up with a financial crisis which has been perpetuated simply by ignorance. That's why it is absolutely central for us to make sure that people understand finances. Today, more than any other time, these are the kind of discussions that we are having. Elsewhere, banks are falling. Elsewhere, people have taken risk to invest in instruments they don't understand just for the promise that I'm going to get something out of it. All this consumerism says there is a need for us to discuss with people issues about savings, borrowing wisely, investing wisely, protecting against harm and fraud. That's the reason why we need to have this kind of events. And last but not least, financial literacy makes better economic policy making. All central banks around the world right now are under pressure. With inflation going up, questions are being asked about their mandates. With inflation going up, questions are being asked about their independence. But as much as the central bank can be proactive and make decisive measures, still questions will come. Yet, if the public is well informed about the thought process of the central bank and what it intends to do, then we will not have problems. And I think today is an indication that the central bank finally gets it. They now understand that we need to talk more, we need to understand where they're coming from, and I think that's the right thing to do. Because the process of economic policy making, it would be better if the citizens are more informed. So I wanted to conclude and join Prime Minister and everyone else to say that this road of financial literacy, which is a road which is less traveled, is one that we must all take. We must thank the central bank for taking a leading role, but as others have already said, it cannot be the only actor in the room. We need to work well with other partners. We need to work with the Ministry of Education, some untraditional alliances, but all aim to achieve this goal of financial literacy. I thank you all for your attention, and I also wish the central bank and all actors in the financial literacy scheme success in all the future endeavors. Thank you.